What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I have to say that I do enjoy myself covering the jiggly women, the well-talented, jiggly ladies of Twitch. I think that Twitch sees them as the most important asset that they have, and far be it for me to get in the way of two consenting adults exchanging money for services. Like, literally, I want to be very clear. I have no problem with this existing. However, while many game journalism outlets like Kotaku choose to categorize this type of work as stunning and brave, I think that they do leave out an obvious sinister part of it. And that is the clear situation in which it takes advantage of lonely people. Why don't they cover it? Because it's taking advantage of lonely men. This is just a fact. I try to be understanding of both sides, but this is just the way that this works. These women in this line of work, not necessarily Twitch people, but what I'm about to talk about in this article, cam girls, things like that. Their primary market is lonely men. And while I don't think that when you get into this type of work, dancing in front of a camera for money, it's not that dissimilar than what I do. I don't think that these women are like, I can't wait to take advantage of these lonely men. I don't believe that. Maybe some, but I'm sure that's an ultra small minority. These are people who probably think they got into it because it's easy money, and it is. Unfortunately, the shelf life for this type of work is very short. But Kotaku chose to talk about how stunning and brave one particular worker is who has billions in the bank. A spicy worker's life in Animal Crossing. Amanda had never played a video game in her life until in the middle of lockdown, one of her loyal fans purchased her a Nintendo Switch, a simp, and a copy of Animal Crossing New Horizons. The 24-year-old, who requested to stay anonymous, obviously, lives in Houston and has worked as a dancer and camera for most of her time in the industry. But everything that happened decimated the pipeline, so she can't dance because clubs are closed. So like many other workers in this space, she's been forced to find work in the midst of an unprecedented stoppage. Just enjoying my tea. So she opened her OnlyFans account, Stunning and Brave. You're just one of many millions of women that are willing to just give away, to take pictures of themselves and sell them to lonely men. But whatever, good on you. A merchant service that allows anyone to sell homemade, spicy content and established a brand new marketing venture. For $20, you can spend 30 minutes on her bustling Animal Crossing island. She describes these transactions as Animal Crossing dates, all funded by Nook Miles and PayPal. Catnip for the many men who wish to be in her orbit. Just look at how this is written. Just with an air of just disdain for men. It wasn't the type of work I ever thought I would do, said Amanda. She had advertised on Twitter that she was playing Animal Crossing and started hearing from customers, I'll pay you to play with me. I was like, oh, okay, says Amanda. We either connect through Nintendo chat so we can talk and they can see my character, or we get on my cam service site where you can have a private room. That's how it started. Amanda quickly found herself flush with cash from her Animal Crossing rendezvous. She has about 6 or 7 regulars who routinely pay her for island entrance fee, which has kept her afloat while the rest of Texas remains under hotly debated semi-lockdown. Well, modern times call for modern solutions, but Amanda is a businesswoman at heart. She knows great opportunity when she sees it. Earning her keep in real life is one thing, but she's got neighbors to feed and gardens to grow on her digital residence. So naturally, the customers who make landfall all leave a tip of either hard-earned bells or other artifacts sourced from Animal Crossing's vast repository of doodads. Which, with some clever marketing, Amanda is killing 2 birds with one stone, making rent money while paying off her Nook debt at the exact same time. I get so many rare items, said Amanda. I have lots of star fragments. I have billions of bells in the bank. It's ridiculous. The hardest part of the game is locating an island with good turnip prices. But these guys will pay for my fee and do all the work finding an island for me. Those lonely idiots. Idiots! I don't require them to leave a tip, but normal people give each other everything in Animal Crossing. It's that kind of game. It's that kind of environment. Yeah, like the clap. An Animal Crossing date with Amanda can be spicy if you want it to be. If you opt to play with her while she's on cam, Amanda will dress up in all the unused gear that's been collecting dust since the government clamped down on clubs. She will tap away at the Switch Lite in stilettos, if that's the sort of thing that gets you off. But even with that context, Amanda says she finds her Animal Crossing hookup work to be a tad more wholesome than her other ventures in the industry. No matter what she's wearing, the two characters on the screen are dressed in the chibi Cub Scout uniforms that define Animal Crossing's harmless way of life. It's hard to be overwhelmingly spicy, she said, when the two of you are catching bugs and digging up fossils. Like the boy and girl in We're Going to Be Friends. They can see me, and we're talking. They run on my island, water my flowers, and bring gifts. I invite people when I have a special character on my island, like when Celeste comes to visit. It's not unwholesome, but it's funny. Because the visual on my end is me being a stripper in stripperwear, but when you're on the island together, it bonds you no matter what. You're doing something together. When I'm on a cam in private sessions, traditionally, that's when I'm going to be nude. But Animal Crossing, we're literally on a date with a tiny person instead of an actual person. Oh, it's so wholesome. It's so wholesome, everybody. Look, I'm telling you, I don't care that this work exists, but understand that its target demographic is lonely men. And these men create a self-fulfilling prophecy of loneliness. If your only interaction with females is when you pay them for their time, this will not prepare you to ever get out of that scenario. When these women are on the clock, you're a customer, not their friend, not their boyfriend. And sadly, this creates a feedback loop of loneliness. These men, and I understand, by the way, there are men out there that don't want a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They don't want that type of traditional relationship. I have friends that are in their 30s, above average earners, and have no interest in dating. So maybe this is just a nice little way to, get some intimate time with somebody. I'm not saying it's super evil, but I'm saying it does prey on lonely men. And that fact is always conveniently left out of articles like this, which prop it up. And it's sad. These people, these people who do this will never get out of the rut of unhappiness and sadness. But and this isn't the women's fault, okay? But understand that game journalism outlets like Kotaku prop this up like it's just so stunning and brave. But if the situation were reversed, if lonely women were being taken advantage of for money, do you think the article would read the same way? Do you think that Kotaku.com would be writing about how ingenious Amanda is and how these men are just happy to play video games? No, I don't think so. The article reads something like, disgusting new trend. Women forced to pay men to play video games with them because patriarchy. But beyond all the profits, Amanda is one of many people who found a certain amount of refuge in normalcy of video games in the outside world, simply refused to let up. 2020 has not given us much room to collect our thoughts as all of our various vectors of chaos coalesce into one persistent throb of uncertainty. In fact, it's hard to imagine time better suited for Animal Crossing dates than a grim lockdown. and everything that's going on right now. You're not physically there, but it's nice to see a representation of someone rather than a picture. She finishes. It's animated. It's a small little thing, but it looks like you. It's nice. They took these quotes. They made her sound like an idiot. That's not her fault. I know how this stuff works with quoting people, and that's not her fault. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think Sophia Narwitz put this out too, and I thought it really made me aware of the article, first of all, and I also strongly agree with it. So this is so sad. This isn't even about hooking up. It's companionship. Somebody to talk to. But in the era of male privilege, society isn't ready to discuss depressed men who allow themselves to be taken advantage of to escape the clutches of loneliness. But I'm sure she feels empowered. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.